come out. We come out chased by hounds. Round and round we go, wearing a pinche rabbit's foot for luck, just ahead of the fucking hounds. ¿Qué hubo? ¡Ah! ¡Qué vida es! ¡Qué loca vida, home!
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. No hay que... Los cinturones aquí se hacen a un lado. Hay que pelear por honor y por gloria nada más.
I invite him into the ring, and like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around. We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
What's your prediction for the fight then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas.
We come out chased by hounds.
Hispanics are causing panic, baby.
All right, thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. D-Style Boxing here. And we have Dave from the 408, G-Funky on here. We'll be joined by Milcar Maestro as well. Make sure you hit my like button. And shout out to everybody listening to the Leave It in the Ring Network with its Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora. Hit my like button. All right. Got a little bit of an echo there. I think we resolved that. How's it going, Pat? How you doing, brother?
All good. Yeah, you're in the UK, 2 a.m. in the morning. It's good. Okay.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We definitely
you're welcome, man. No worries. No problem.
Awesome. Hopefully they take care of that issue with Twitter. What's going on? They got you on timeout? What's going on?
I think it's just like music and things in the background of work. And so I hope I can get it sorted because, it's a pretty good following on Twitter. So it's a bit annoying. But fingers crossed it will. I did send an email to Twitter and hopefully they'll, re-put it up. Like, I hope.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I just wanted to share your website here. To talk to people. It. Yeah. To talk to people about your website, what can they find on there?
Well, if you go to the top and that's me doing the latest piece of the Four Kings. If you click to the at the top, events, exhibition and events.
Okay.
We'll go to the store.
Okay.
So if you scroll down here, and then if you click on the past events.
Sure.
Oh, this is good that you can do this. Scroll down.
Yeah.
And then you've got there at the top there, if you want to go to the top one, February, I was out in for Wilder Fury in February. So I haven't been to Vegas. I haven't traveled for a year like everybody else, but Mike Tyson was there, and I did a live painting of Mike in the MGM Grand. And Mike signed it. An amazing experience and great to speak with Mike as well. As he came in, he was like, "Hey, that's my first fight," and I was going, "Yeah, I'm painting him, Mike," and he was like, "That's awesome." So it was, brilliant experience. And for the weekend of Wilder Fury, it was unbelievable because the queue just didn't stop, and that was me with Sam Watson there that's the piece I did for Wilder Fury. I wanted to capture Fury mocking Wilder in the first fight, but also Wilder putting Fury down. So that's what I've done that part there for. That piece sold as well.
Oh, wow. Are you able to give a price? Like how much it sold for?
I think it was up at $10,000, but I'm not sure if it did go for that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. That's out in Saudi Arabia with Yeah,
That's a Ruiz fight,
that's
okay.
with Barry and Eddie Hearn there in Saudi Arabia. That was an amazing experience as well, and that was out in. So on the site there's lots of, boxing is a big passion of mine. I do paint a lot of other things, but I do love the boxing. I used to box when I was younger, and it's just gone on from there. The passion and.
Sure. Now, when did you realize as an artist? Because I mean, you're extremely talented. So when did you realize? Were you a kid? Like, when did you realize that your talent, that you had a natural talent for this, pretty much?
Yeah, I was very, as I grew up, especially in it was a bit weird, really. As a kid, I just wanted to draw. It was a very natural talent as a kid growing up. And then, in fairness to my mum and dad, they encouraged me, and they were always supporting me in whatever I wanted to do.
Right.
And they, I went on to college, and I left college in '95. And the funny thing was, I was actually still boxing at that time as an amateur. But it was a very natural talent when I was younger, and I just pursued it, And in fairness to my parents, they never stopped me from doing that. Boxing came into my life when I was around. I loved watching it with my dad. I always loved it. I remember watching Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor and watching the four, and I think I didn't start until late. Really, I didn't start until I was about 16. But then I fell in love with it. I totally fell in love with the sport, and then obviously going to art college, it was something that obviously played a part in my artwork as well. I mean, I'm now the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame official artist. The Atlantic City's been going for about, I think, since 2017, 2018. And I've been the official artist since 2018.
Okay.
No, sorry, 2019, was it? But unfortunately, we missed last year. So this year should be pretty good. We got Felix Trinidad going in this year. We've got Roy Jones going in. Hopefully, I'll be heading out to Atlantic City August. Hopefully that goes ahead, and international travel continues as well.
Now, talk to me about your boxing. When did you pick up the sport of boxing, and what made you stop boxing?
Well, I didn't start until I was about 16. Totally fell in love with it. I didn't have my first fight until I was 18 because I had a heart murmur. But the funny, I'd been training for 2 years before I had an amateur fight. And interesting story, my first amateur fight was in Newbridge Rugby Club on a Enzo Calzaghe show. Joe was on the bill. He was, I think he was on an exhibition fight. In 1990, it would have been 1992 or 1993, and that was my first fight. And I was 18. I stopped the guy. I stopped the guy in the third round, and I packed it in like quite a few years later. My hands were hurting a lot. Just the politics within the sport here in Wales just spoiled it, really, to be honest. And I lost a lot of interest, and my hands were absolutely killing from like the bag and pad work, and I just felt that it wasn't good. I trained and loved the art, being an artist, and I felt that it wasn't the right thing for me. So I sort of pursued, because I very nearly turned pro with Enzo Calzaghe around 97. But like I said, my hands and the politics, I didn't bother.
Okay.
I did all right. I had 45 senior fights. I won about 35. Knocked about 15 of them out. I did all right.
There you go. So when did you realize that, because obviously your two loves, right? One of them was painting or being an artist. Another one is boxing. At what point did you decide that this is something you're really going to pursue? Being an artist, and painting a lot of like boxers for events.
Well, I left college in '95, and I think around, I won it was an amateur boxing federation title because we'd split from the, Wales. We were going through a lot of problems, and I very nearly turned pro then. It was on my mind a lot, and I was in a bit of a, like we all do really when we're 21, 20, in our early 20s, but I don't think anybody's sure what they really want to do. And I loved painting, and I sort of wanted to be a professional artist, but I didn't know, if I could at that point. That Crawford owns that piece.
Okay.
It was a difficult time in a way, but I just went with my love of the sport and with what I enjoy doing. And it's been a long road. It's been a long journey, but things are working out.
Definitely. This is a lot of great work, man. Hey, gentlemen, you guys got any questions?
If you scroll down on that, if you go across, I think if you go across to these ones and click the button, click the April button there. Just scroll back to that one. If you click the April.
For some reason, it's not.
No worries.
I think I know what it is.
No, not the okay. The
Okay.
Oh, right. No, I don't know. No, I think that's just a time lapse. Right. Wow. Yeah, that's the time lapse of the piece.
Okay. Hey, I could watch this for sure. All right.
I actually thought it was good. I thought it was a thing of me and Crawford on there, but I think it might be at the end. I don't know.
Okay. It's amazing to me how these artists and how they make it look so easy. I remember growing up watching that guy Bob Ross on PBS and trying to do all the stuff he does, and it just never came out that way.
Bob was brilliant. He was just the way that he did. He baffles me as well, to be honest. I mean, there's a certain style and way that he would capture. Oh, there we are. There's me and Crawford there, look. Wow. And he signed a number of. So there's me and Crawford there. That's at the Stewart Hotel, right opposite Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
The Stewart Hotel have been absolutely brilliant for me. They let me exhibit there a lot, and they let me. And the brilliant thing was with the Stewart Hotel, all the guys would fight. Teofimo would be there. Crawford would be there. Lomachenko would be there. And for those guys, they were. For me to be painting their live and stuff, and the guys would be just walking past, and like Crawford come up, and Teofimo were like, "Yeah, it's looking good, man." It's fantastic opportunity for me as well.
Yeah.
So Crawford and Amir Khan had signed them. So that's like a limited edition, canvas edition. It's similar to what's behind me. And Crawford had both of them. Yeah, I painted that one live at the event.
Oh wow!
In like over a week,
Man. That is some great work for sure.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Do you have any? Do you have any paintings of Julio Cesar Chavez? He was my favorite growing up.
Oh, do you know what? I did a commission. I don't know if it would be on our website, but I have done a commission. That's out there. The bottom bit there was with. That's quite a nice. If you can blow that bit up there, because that was the first Wilder Fury fight. That one there.
Okay.
And that's with the first one there. I don't know if you can see who it is. The first one, the heavyweight.
Oh right, Riddick Bowe.
Oh
Buster Douglas.
Buster Douglas.
The first one's Buster Douglas.
Oh, I remember those guys were all there. Yeah, I remember
Barry
that.
Cooney.
And
Yeah,
that's the guy. That's the
Barry
guy that
Cooney.
bought it. That's Pat.
That's Jerry Cooney, right?
Yeah, Jerry Cooney.
It
Jerry
is
Cooney,
amazing how that looks like a photo. It doesn't even look like a painting. You know, that's amazing.
Do you have any of Lewis?
Lennox Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you click on the store button, Eric, I think. Well, that was a nice piece. Then it doesn't matter. Scroll down. Go to boxing.
Yep.
Click the boxing button.
Boxing.
No, scroll back up.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And by the way, I mean, I see you have some other stuff, UFC as well, musicians, rugby.
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, it's gone. Click the boxing button again.
Click it again. Okay. There we go. Wow, look at that Joshua Ruiz one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Actually, if I can spin if I spin my thing around here, you can see the original here.
Let me see. Yeah,
One of the things with that.
let me get you on the full screen. There we go. Wow, look at that.
Joshua out in Saudi Arabia. I can see.
Okay, wow.
You guys notice how accurate the sleeve on Andy Ruiz is there?
Yes. This is amazing.
I was a bit disappointed because, to be honest, it was meant to be. It was meant to be at a gala dinner in Saudi Arabia, and unfortunately, it didn't go ahead. But it was meant to be auctioned at the gala. But never mind, it's another story. That's the latest piece.
Like the first time I ran into your work, it was that one right there, right?
Yeah, this is a canvas edition. The original's gone, but that's a canvas edition of the original, and that's a nice piece. Well, that's signed by Paul Aaron.
Wow, look at that.
But that's the canvas edition as well.
Okay, man. Okay, so now I know you sell like poster size ones, right? I know I saw that.
Yeah.
They're limited edition.
Yeah, I do posters, and we should do a competition on you as well for somebody to win that for one of them.
Oh wow!
Man.
To win the Four Kings one.
Yeah.
I got a spot.
I'll post it anywhere in the world.
I got a spot for it right away too.
I got one too, right behind me.
So this is the original. You say it's somebody already got it?
Yeah. It was a commission, and I'm glad that the guy commissioned it as well, because I'm not sure if I would have. I did it finished it a couple of months back. I know, a couple of weeks back.
Right.
Yeah, so the size is 30 inches by 40 inches. And, I wondered, if you look at the images on there, all of them are in the same style gloves. Because obviously on the images that I'd used, some of them have been flipped around as well. Because I wanted the composition. When you look at that painting, it looks very, it's nice to look at as well. Because you look at Durrani's face into the left, you look at Hagley's face into the right, the same way as Hearns as well is looking to the left, Leonard's looking to the right. But then I also wanted them in the background with their fists up in the air, like a winning pose,
Yeah.
Right.
And then I wasn't certain. I wasn't certain on the names at the start. I wasn't certain whether to do it. I don't know if you can just blow that up a little bit more so you can see the names. But I felt that it worked really well after, because with the names as well, and the style of the writing that I used.
Do you have the picture in another part of the website?
Of that one?
Yeah. Well, what's this? The Ukrainian champ? Okay, look at that. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a commission as well.
Okay.
Do you sell prints?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like poster prints from
Yes, sir.
$20, $30. The problem with the US, the problem is that sometimes put people off, is that it costs me £20 to send it to the US. So I always do it tracked and signed.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doubles the price of the print sometimes. But at the end of the day, you know, that's the and there's a gold rim on the right end, which you can't see on as me signing it. So
yeah, we can see it.
I'm definitely getting that one for sure.
Absolutely.
What we could do is this, right? I want to make sure your Twitter is back up and running.
No, I know.
And we could raffle out next week that poster style for the Four Kings, right?
Yeah.
So everyone in the chat that wants in the raffle next week, press 1 right now, and I'll go back and I'll make that raffle for next week. All right. So we could always do that if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all you got to do. Press 1 and you're in the raffle. Also, they're already pressing 1 right there. So they're getting in on it. You know what I mean? But are the hosts allowed to go in? Can I put 1? Is Can we get in the raffle too?
I'm throwing my name in the hat. That's a bad piece, man. I like that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You know, in all seriousness, what I love about that piece is, I mean, obviously you're a talented artist, and any painting you do is going to look good. But it's creative. Like, you know, I mean, there's something very creative about it.
I was really pleased with the way it came out, especially the Four Kings. You know, I like the idea of it. You know, and
have you ever thought about?
There's no reason why, like, Duran's at clubs, or some people have, said, "Oh, I would have had Hagler as a spade," but it didn't matter because they're all kings,
Right.
And that's what I wanted to put out there. I tell you what was beautiful about this, right? The little story is when I was doing the piece. I finished the piece, and then because I'm in contact with Irishelle Duran, which is Duran's daughter, because I met her at the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. So I contacted her, and I was sending her some images as it was developing, and she loved the piece. So I sent some prints out for Duran, and then I got in contact with a guy on EJ, a guy on LinkedIn, and he put me in touch with Thomas Hearns. So I was driving home from a delivery a couple of weeks back, and lo and behold, Tommy Hearns on the phone. And so I'm chatting with Tommy Hearns for 15 minutes, and he loves the piece. And so I got in contact with his son then to send him some for his dad. And so it was nice to chat to him, and then I spoke to Sugar Ray Leonard's son. Unfortunately, I think Hagler's a bit difficult to get hold of these days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well. I mean that's. It's just. Have you ever thought, or has anyone suggested, like, making a deck of cards and having the Four Kings?
Yeah, a lot of people did mention it, but it's a lot of work. I mean, I've actually seen it as well. I mean, I've seen it with photographs, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I've seen it done many times with photos of the fighters. I mean, it would be the queens. I suppose the girl fighters would be the queens.
Oh, that's a great
Layla Ali, etc. But who'd want to be a Jack?
well, here's the thing, like, because in all honesty, the numbers don't even matter. Like the other pieces.
No, I know.
I got a request.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one day you'll do Teofilo Stevenson. There's a great picture of him standing beside Muhammad Ali when he invited him to Cuba.
Right.
I think that would be epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not done him, and that would be. He was a great amateur, wasn't he? Unfortunately, he didn't turn pro, but I can understand why he didn't.
Yeah, best heavyweight amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they offered him millions to fight Ali.
Yeah, they offered him millions, and he said he'd rather the I think the respect of millions of his compatriots over millions of dollars. So he's something like that. But yeah,
he probably had plenty of money anyway. But I mean,
there's an epic pic of him with Ali when Ali lands at the airport in Cuba.
Right.
I have a question for Pat.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, since you probably find yourself in Las Vegas so much, are any of these reproductions available in Las Vegas stores like the Fight Shop on the Strip?
I actually painted live in the Fight Shop. They've actually moved now. But I initially I painted live in there for a bit, and we were actually, I'm trying to think what it was. Actually, I tell you what it was. It was McGregor versus Khabib, and I was actually doing a live painting. But I don't think where I was exhibiting at the time when I'm in Vegas, I tell you where they are available is in the MGM Art of Music store, and there used to be a gallery there as well, and I was there quite a lot, but I'm not sure if the gallery's there in the MGM now. But it's called the Art of Music store, and they sell a bit of my work.
Yeah, as these American fans get back into watching the fights live, I could just see myself picking one of these up. How convenient to take one home.
I'm missing it big time. The traveling and just going away, and just hope everything comes together soon. What's it like in America then at the moment to travel? Can you travel now?
Yeah, but you need to. If you want to come into the country, you need a negative COVID test from within 72 hours. Yeah, but you're able to travel freely once you're inside. Yeah,
I got my first one next Wednesday. Funny enough.
Vaccine?
You mean like a COVID test or vaccine?
Yeah, I'm 46, so I think the stage here in the UK. No, a vaccine. Sorry, not the test. The vaccine. Yeah. The first one.
Yeah, I had my second dose yesterday. My arm's hurting like crazy, but it's for the good cause.
Right. Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Pat, we definitely need to bring you back, man. If you're available next week, so we could do the raffle while you're on here with us. You know what I mean? And we'll hopefully you have your Twitter up and running by then, and we'll get more people on there and do a live raffle for that poster. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I really hope that I get my Twitter back up. But yeah, no problem.
Definitely. Hey, thanks for coming by, Pat, and you have yourself a good one, man. Thanks for coming on. I know it's late over there.
Yeah, get some rest.
I think there's a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay over there.
Nonetheless, D-Styles, that was awesome to have him on here, a different perspective. What guy doesn't want one of those in their man cave? I wasn't even aware of him, so thanks for shedding light on him. Right?
I'm putting that shit in the living room. Fuck that.
And there's quite a selection too.
Yeah, definitely,
absolutely.
Man. Great stuff. Hope to have him back on. I can't get enough of that artwork, man. I really can't. So. I hope to have him on next week. And a little bit, guys, we'll be having our second guest on, Jesus Ramos, knockout artist, 15 fights, 14 knockouts. So he's a hell of a fighter. We're going to have him on in a little bit, all right? Make sure you hit my like button, right? And a quick rundown for the chat here. Run PMC, A-Rod, Ricardo Martinez, Tracy Boxer Girl, Run PMC, Chief Funky 84, Coco the Don Boxing, A-Rod Boxeo, Cordova, Andre Rodriguez, Tony Boswell, Jamie. Any plans to do a piece on Chocolatito Estrada 2 fight? Well, that's a question we can ask him at some point, hopefully when he gets his Twitter back for sure. JC, damn, this Vato gets down with that art. Absolutely. Great artwork for sure. Tony Boswell, my grandfather would pass out watching Bob, and so would I. Right? Chief Funk 84 in the chat, of course. And shout out to everybody, man. Sonteo Media, JC, 92AKU, everybody. All right. And look at all those ones. A lot of people entering that. Next week, we'll go ahead and do the raffle. Hey, well, what do you guys think about Canelo, man? He went out there and did his thing, huh?
Yes, he did. But as you know, D-Style, it doesn't matter what Canelo does. He's always going to have his haters. So he did his thing.
That's without a shadow of a doubt, man. And it looks like we already have our next guest here. The one, the only 14 knockouts. Jesus Ramos Jr. How's it going, brother? Can you hear us? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Jesus Ramos, you there, brother?
I think he's
man. How are you guys?
Okay. No, good.
Good.
How you doing, brother? How you feeling?
Good, man. You know, good to be back in the gym. Training again.
Yeah, I see you dropping dudes with left hooks like crazy. I gotta tell you, man, explain to us regular folks how it feels to knock a grown men out back to back in a boxing ring. What's that feeling like when you put somebody's lights out?
It's crazy, man. It's like you hit the right spot and you just feel it. You know, you feel like you hit the right spot, and they just drop. It's crazy, but I mean, it's just all the hard work, you know, that we put in and day out.
Awesome. Go ahead, Chief Funky.
Yeah, hey, I want to ask you a question. Now I know you're a lot younger than myself. You know, I'm almost 40 years old, but your style, the first thing I noticed when I watched you fight, your style reminded me of El Feroz Fernando Vargas. Is he some guy that you studied along the way and took some things from?
Vargas, a couple things. He wasn't my favorite fighter, and I wouldn't say I was something that I would like to copy. But I mean, I like to study Ricardo Finito Lopez. And Juan Manuel Marquez, but never Vargas, man. That's the first time I've had someone tell me I fight like him.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me, except obviously you're a southpaw. But I really love one thing I always look at in young fighters is I always look at the footwork and the balance. You might be one of the most well-balanced and best footwork out of the young guys that I've seen. It's just a thing of beauty. Like I seen you when you're in there with geez, I can't remember the guy's last name, but he was doing a lot of moving, and the way that you would just, you know, cut him off, pivot and stuff like that. I mean, I love that, man. Explain to the people how important that is to have great footwork and balance in boxing.
Yeah, I think it's the most important part. You know, that's where you generate power, and that's where you cut the ring off as well. You know, if you got a guy like Naim Nelson for that fight, he was moving around. So you gotta have that good footwork and good balance to always be in position to, you know, land your punches. And like I said, it's where all the power comes from as well.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot when you were fighting Nelson. He was moving an awful lot, and you were able to just keep up with him with just very little bit of movement. You know, you come forward and you would just spin, cut him off, like it was a thing of beauty, man. But I also want to ask you this, because you're really big. You're 5'10", and then I seen you fight a couple of fights at light 140 and 147, kind of back and forth. So are you outgrowing that the 140 weight now, or are you gonna continue to kind of go back and forth?
No, I think
it looks like it's freezing up there, but I think you're good to go. Can you hear us now? Can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Maybe he can call in these though.
Yeah, we could do that too.
There's some great questions in the chat too.
Yeah. Go ahead and post the number on the private chat there, Amilcar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you able to hear us, brother? We cannot hear you, but are you able to call that number?
It's a little choppy. If you could call that number, we'll get you right in, fam.
Are you able to see the number on the back there? Well, he kind of gets that. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's just that this is live and uncut, ladies and gentlemen. Live and uncut. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, but
You're tuning into HCP 51. Make sure you hit the like button. All right, we're gonna see if we can get him to call in.
He's trying to work that phone. It can be tricky for people who don't do the StreamYard stuff. But the dedication that if Jesus can hear us, the dedication, he's back in the gym. I mean, he didn't take any time off.
I'm gonna text you the number on. I'm gonna text you the number on the Twitter as well, so you can join us that way. But we're gonna get him on one way or another. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's back.
He's back, I think. Are you there, brother?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
A lot better.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
Let's see. Go ahead and ask your question again, Chief Funk. Yeah, I don't think he caught it, brother.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Dang, I forgot what I asked him. Oh yeah. I seen your last couple of fights. One was at 140 pounds, and the last fight you had was at 147. So are you gonna continue to go back and forth between those divisions, or are you gonna stay at 147?
I think I want to stay at 147. I think I outgrew the 140-pound division. I think it's a matter of time before I outgrow the 147 too. I'm only 19 and I'm getting bigger each training camp, and I feel like I'm building a lot of muscle. So I want to stay at 147 just enough to get a belt, and then I can move up to 154 and so on.
Okay, all right. Now, there's Santel Media is asking in the chat if there's a chance to ask him what he thinks about the boxing scene in Phoenix, Arizona. There's been some top-ranked cards co-promoted with smaller local promoters in Phoenix.
There's actually good boxing and DSTYLE here in Phoenix. I actually got a chance to be in one of the cards when I first came to the U.S. to fight. It was Iron Boy Promotions, but I've never got to fight like on the top ranked card. I got immediately signed by Heyman, so just been PBC since then.
Okay, all right.
That's actually going to be my question. I was going to ask you to describe your decision to join the PBC. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought that you stole the show on your last card.
Thank you, man. What was the question again? What was the first part of that question?
If you could just tell us about your decision to join the PBC.
Oh yeah. That's kind of the guy I wanted to work with. Heyman, that was my dream. I feel like he's the easiest way to go. In terms of promotional companies and stuff like that. And I mean, when they told us how their plan, to build me up and everything, I was interested, and ever since then I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it. They're great. They're great with me, and I'm glad I'm in the PBC family.
Jesus, it's Dave here. I wanted to jump in and ask you that you took care of Bojorquez rather quickly, and he had fought Mario Barrios. So if the opportunity presents for you to fight Mario Barrios sooner and get a shot at 140, would you still be interested in taking that shot?
Yeah, I would take it. I think it'd be hard to make 140, but I mean, with the good solid training camp and all of that, I think I can get down to 140. Cause just for one fight, you know, and a good fight like Mario Barrios, we would do it for sure.
Yeah, you took care of him really quickly. I think most people were surprised. My other question is, a lot of people who may not know, but you come from a big boxing family, and your uncle fights for PBC too, Abel Ramos, right?
Yeah, he's my uncle.
And he fought your Dennis Ugas. So is that a revenge fight you might have? You know, a little family revenge. You want to take care of some business. You're calling out some of the big dogs already, and PBC is the place to be at for a welterweight, right?
Yeah, PVC is the place to be, and yeah, you know, like I said, I want Jordanis Ugas. You know, I want eye for an eye. I want revenge, and you know, hopefully it happens.
So somebody's asking, what are your thoughts on Virgil Ortiz and a possible fight with him down the line?
He's a great fighter. He's very talented, and I think that's going to be a big fight. You know, if it ever happens, you know, it's Mexican versus Mexican, and that never fails. So it'll be a great fight.
Not a star yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Raise the really? Okay.
Yeah, no,
there's a whole group of young, talented prospects at 140, 47. I mean, is somebody even like, I know he's at Top Rank, but a Puerto Rican fight with Xander Zayas, you see maybe that as a possibility down the line too?
Yeah, man. I think there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of talent. You know, we got Vito Milnicki, Xander Zayas, all these guys, and I think we're gonna, you know, keep building up until we're all at the top level where we all gotta fight each other, you know, and those are gonna be interesting fights as well if we all keep on this path, of course.
All right. Now, according to this poster, they're asking what's the experience like sparring Hooker and Crawford. Did you spar both of them?
You know, with Hooker, man, I mean, it's two different styles, of course. You know, Hooker likes to come forward. He's got that long reach, you know, and he's always working that jab. So you gotta be ready, you know, to get pressured, and you gotta be setting things up as you go. So it was always good work with Hooker, you know, especially with his reach. I'm used to being the taller guy always. So with Hooker, I had to do some adjustments, and with Crawford, man, that's different. With Crawford, you got to be thinking. You know, we sparred 4-minute rounds, so you got to be thinking the full 4-minute rounds. You know, there's not 1 second where you can sleep with him. You know, he'll capitalize on everything. So, you know, I really had to be on the top game with Crawford.
All right. And by the way, shout out to Dr. Pepper for the question there. Now, I do want to ask a question from Philly. Irish Drew, is there another reason why he chose 147? It will be a lot harder making big fights at 140 because most top guys are with Top Rank.
You know, I didn't really think about that. You know, it's mostly because it's getting too hard to make weight. But I mean, there's still guys at 140. You know, with PBC, like you said, Barrios, it would have been a good fight with him.
Definitely.
Hey guys, Jesus, it's very possible that Canelo Alvarez may someday fight Plant this year. And is that a fight that you'd like to see your team get? Maybe your team get you on the undercard of a Canelo Alvarez fight if he gets a fight with Plant?
Yeah, oh yeah, man, that would be big. That would be something big if it's possible. You know, like you said, if you were to fight Caleb Plant, and that could be in the undercard, that would be huge. That would be a huge opportunity, and definitely it'd be
it
big.
looks like Mexican Independence Day would be a great weekend for that, to put you on that card if it transpires. I hope so.
Yeah, it would. It would be great. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna happen though. I got a fight lined up for April 24th already, so I think fighting in May would be a little difficult.
Or maybe if it transpires later in the year, that Caleb Plant fight down the line. I'm I'm pretty sure that most people would like to see you on that undercard.
Yeah. Hopefully, man, it'd be a great opportunity, like you said.
Let me ask you this: do you ever like as someone who's knocking dudes out and dropping bodies? Is there like a little bit of competition, like with other knockout artists in the sport? Like, do you want to be known as the knockout artist? Is that something you think about? Like Berlanga? No. This is where it's at. I'm going to give the knockout to the year right here. Okay, you got to watch me. All right, is that something you think about?
No, I actually never think about that because I don't consider myself just a pure power puncher. I think I have more tools to my game. And I think this weekend's knockout wasn't just power. I was setting it up. I was jabbing to the body consistently, and he was expecting my left hand, over the top. But I brought that right hook, and I think that's how I get my knockouts, setting stuff up, and then not just pure power punching.
Jesus, did I hear you say April 24th? That would be Chris Arreola versus Andy Ruiz, right?
Yeah, correct.
You making that big announcement right now? You'll be on that card? That's great.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we're looking at good names. We're looking to step up competition.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Hey, Arreola Ruiz. It's going to be a pay-per-view fight announced by Fox, and Jesus Ramos, knockout artist, will be on that card. In case anybody's wondering. So, I like what you just mentioned because you said, I'm not just a puncher, right? So, okay, that was going to be one of my questions, because a lot of punchers, like, they're used to just dropping bodies, right? And then they fight that one dude that doesn't go anywhere, and a lot of them fall apart. But you're telling us that you can box. Like, if you got to go 12, hard rounds, you can do it, even though the guy's still there.
Yeah, of course. We always get ready for the limit. If it's 10 rounds, we get ready for 10, and that's the way it goes. But I think my style, like I said, setting things up, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Like when Naeem Nelson, I had to go a little more rounds, and I was touching him upstairs, downstairs, cutting the ring off. I wasn't letting him do his game. And I think it was frustrating for him, and that's how I started, imposing my will, landing harder shots, and eventually I got rid of him, and I think that's going to be the case in most of my fights. Like you said, there's always going to be some guy that can, take my shots a little better, but with pressure, setting things up, and just working them every minute of each round, I think it's going to give me the knockout.
Most definitely, right? Got anything else, Amilcar?
No, just wishing you all the best success and all the best in your career with the PBC. Your announcement tonight was huge. Obviously, we'll be looking forward to seeing you on that pay-per-view, and we'll see how you continue to progress, and let's see if you can keep that KO streak going.
By the way, Amilcar, I said he's going to take you out to pizza in New York next time you're in New York. I heard it. You weren't too happy with the New York scene last time you were there.
Yeah, I'm a teacher up here in New York, so I know the spots. So whatever you're looking to eat, I can definitely make some recommendations for you.
For sure, man. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I want to ask you something too. I noticed when you fought Ricky Edwards, you stopped him, but the punch you landed on him was like it was a left hand, but it was kind of like it was almost like he anticipated it coming straight in, but then you kind of curved it like right at the last second. Is that something that you work on, like kind of doing like a punch like that people don't expect to come? Because he seemed like he had it pretty well defended. He had his hand up and everything, but the punch got in and he was out of there.
Yeah. That's how because his style, he was moving to the right a lot. So we were watching him in tape, and we knew he was gonna run into the left hand if we just curved a little bit. So we practiced it, and it came out good, man. It worked out good. It worked out as planned, and I had landed it a couple times in that fight before the knockout. But that the third round was a one.
Yeah, I remember that. You hit him with a straight left, and then he kind of tried to come in and clinch. You hit him with a right hook, and he just looked at you and like shook his head like, "Nah, you didn't hurt me." But then the next punch, he's gone. So I didn't really notice that you did that until they showed the replay, and I was like, "Oh man," he kind of like it came in straight, and then at the last second, he just went boom, a little curve, and then he was gone. Man, that's a beautiful punch.
Yeah, I heard Lennox Lewis reference Razor Ruddock, so very similar, you know, for sure. Yeah. You got anything else for 408?
Yeah, Jesus, this year, so, okay, you had a fantastic last year during the year of coronavirus pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. Is your goal this year to maybe be prospect of the year? I mean, it looks like you're on the road, stack up another 4 or 5 wins possibly. How soon before you go for a title shot?
You know, hopefully we get that recognition. Honestly, you know, I don't know. I consider myself different. I'm not looking for like all that fame. I'm looking to get respect. You know, and that's why we want these tough fights. For like Ugas and all that. You know, I'm not I don't want to say any names, but like other fighters, you know, that are, you know, trying to do this and do that. I'm just looking to get my respect. I'm looking to get my titles, and that's what I'm here for at the end of the day, you know, to leave a legacy by winning fights and fighting the best, of course.
I do have one more question, actually. What were some of the, you know, boxers that you looked up to in Arizona? I know you turned pro in Mexico, but you fight out of Arizona, obviously, and that's not always considered to be, you know, like a known place that produces boxers.
From here, you know, we got Michael Carvajal. He was a great fighter. Yeah, you know. So growing up, we were always, you know, watching him and hearing about him and all that, and seeing him in the amateurs. And you know, my uncle as well. He was the one that inspired me as well. And you know, as we grew into the sport. You know, like you said, there's not much boxing here, so we had to look at other fighters. But growing up, hey, we had Michael Carvajal from Arizona.
Man, I love Michael Carvajal, man. He was one of my favorites. I know it was a way before your time, but like I said, I'm an old dude, man, so I remember watching him on TV a lot.
Well, we're not that old now. We're not that old.
Yeah, man,
right?
those were the good fights.
Right.
We're a lot older than him, man. You're 19, right? 19 years old?
19, man. Yeah, 19.
You don't want to know what I was doing when I was 19.
He's part of the new generation. Hey, Jesus, we have mutual friends over at Fit Warrior brand. Don't forget to give them a shout out, right? They working with you?
Yeah, Fit Warrior, man. They got fresh merch, man. Super good quality, and I'm happy with what we're working with.
Yeah, hopefully next time you're on, maybe they can hook us up with some kind of a discount code so people out here can get fitted with some fresh gear from Fit Warrior, man. Let them know. I'll give you a discount code for us out here.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Hey, there was a question. Go ahead. No, I was going to say there was a good question I seen from the chat. Somebody asked, because Chavez Jr. had a really good turnout for his fight with Daniel Jacobson in Phoenix. Would you like to have once everything, you know, loosens up? Would you like to have a fight there at some point?
Of course, man. Of course. You know, it'd be something big. I think. You know, if we get David Benavidez to fight out here, my uncle and myself, I think that'd be a huge card. I think people would come out to support, and you know, hopefully in the future we can make that happen.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Do you have any like you know, inspirations or influences outside of boxing, like any artist, you know, that you know you really like, that you know that you look up to, like while you were growing up?
Outside of boxing, not really, man. You know, I always looked up to Ricardo Finito Lopez, but you know, he was a boxer, no artist, nothing like that. You know,
that's a good one.
Strictly boxers. They've been my.
So let me ask you from your perspective, Finito Lopez, where do you personally put him all time with the Mexican fighters? Is he a top 5 to you? Is he the best? Is he top 10? Where would you put him?
That's tough. To me, he's the best, and not he was greatly skilled, man. He was a technician. He was the most humble guy, I've seen, and he's just so humble, just his character. He's and to this day, he accomplished so many things, and he's just the most humble person ever. To me, he's the best Mexican fighter, out there. Just because of the way he carries himself outside of the ring and everything he did.
The unbelievable fighter was Finito Lopez for sure.
Yeah. My grandfather would stay up late to watch him fight. He was fighting like in Japan and stuff like that. So fun stuff. Yeah. Sure. You know what I mean? Who are some? Can you give us some other names that you sparred with?
I sparred with Robert Brandt, Steven Nelson, big guys. Terrell Williams. I sparred Terrell Williams. And when I was younger, Adam Lunos Lopez. And just a bunch of guys, man. A bunch of fighters, talented fighters. But the big guys have been, Crawford, Hooker, Robert Brandt, Steven Nelson, all those guys. I sparred Jamal Herring too. Jamal Herring, Jamal Herring.
Well,
that's some good work there, man.
That's a lot of
good work.
Jesus, if I could ask you one thing in common that I've seen with all the top prospects that the network is interviewing here, like Gabe Flores, Sandra Zayas, it's a family affair, right? You come from a boxing family. How important is your family in your path going forward?
To me, my family is, very, very important. They mean everything to me. They're my inspiration. And they're out here at the gym with us every day. We got my little brothers, my sister, my mother comes to the gym. So we're all very, very close, And like I said, my uncle, he's here too, every day. And I mean, like I said, family is very important to me. If I'm not boxing, I'm with them. And that's just the way it is all the time, man.
So you had no problem being focused all of last year, right? Focus isn't any of your problem, huh?
Nah.
That's the way it's got to be, brother.
Yeah.
Yes,
no doubt about that. All right. Hey, man, we definitely need to get you back on. Before anything, does anyone else in the panel have any other questions?
Yeah, I got another question.
Sure, go ahead.
Gym out there in Arizona, is that Kaizen? What's your home gym there in Arizona? I'm just checking out your jersey. I'm wondering what the Kaizen there.
No, he's a sponsor, man. This guy's a sponsor. But my gym is out here in Arizona. It's Ramos Boxing Academy. My father owns it, and he's got a good program out here. But for training camps, we usually leave. But when we're here, this is our gym.
Got it. Ramos Boxing Academy.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
It's a real deal, family affair.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to say something, G Funky?
No, I was just gonna say, keep up the good work, man. You just had a fight. You're back in the gym. That's great to hear from the young fighters. Keep focused, man, because we see a lot of time. Guys come into the game, they look really good, but they lose that focus, man. So I like what I'm hearing, man, and I just want to say good luck into the rest of your career.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Now, but before I let you go, because earlier we had a painter, and I want you to be a painter. Paint a picture for us right now, if you can, right? Explain to everyone what a day of training is for you. Well, what's a typical day for you? What time do you wake up? When do you do road work? How long do you stay in the gym? Like, when do you hit the meds? When do you do sparring? Like, what's a day of training for you?
When we're getting ready for a fight, we wake up at 7 in the morning. We eat breakfast. Eat breakfast before training. And if it's on a Monday, it's strength and conditioning. Mondays is for strength and conditioning in the morning, and then around 2 o'clock we come back to the gym for boxing, and that's from like 2 to like 5:30, and that's just and on Mondays it's mitts. We work mitts, and that's around 10 rounds of mitts, and then we work the bags, heavy bag, speed bag, double end, everything. And then after all that training, we have a little run on a treadmill or whatever. Because in the morning it was strength and conditioning. Then on Tuesdays, it's sparring days. So in the mornings it's road work, and that's usually it changes. And in Colorado Springs we were doing sometimes it was sprints up a hill, sometimes it was running up a hill, and then in the afternoon it was sparring. And sparring days were a little lighter, sparring and then a little bit of bag work, and that was it. But Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are strength and conditioning. So those are the long days. Those are where we have mids, and then at the end of the day, a run. So those are long days.
Hey, well, there you go. There you go. Well said, well painted, right, for us. I want to thank you, Jesus Ramos. 15-0, 14 knockouts, PBC knockout sensation. We definitely need to bring you back on, and we wish you nothing but the best, man. Keep in touch, and you have yourself a great one, brother.
Yeah, man. Don't forget the Hispanics causing panic, bro.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Jesus, for coming on, man. You got a place here. You got a home here too, brother.
Definitely hit up HCP when you're back in New York.
I got you, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Definitely, brother. Well, there you go, guys. The one and the only Jesus Ramos, 15-0, 14 knockouts. Great kid. Make sure you guys check him out. I showed some of the highlights there. I mean, great knockout artist, man. A hell of a left hook. Really good right hand, too. I mean, he's got it all. And, he's confident in his boxing abilities in case he can't knock a dude out. You always got to like that. You know what I mean? Jay Garcia says, new sub, what's up? How's it going? D. Hodges on here. How's it going, brother? Retro boxing documentary. That's Blood Boxing. Check him out. Jose Yepe Ramos versus Ennis or Virgil. What's up? Hey, Chief Funky, tell us about the Canelo Yildirim fight, brother. And how did you see that fight? Were you impressed? Just give us a rundown.
Well, I wouldn't say I was impressed. It finished and played out pretty much the way I thought. I mean, I figured he would carry him a few more rounds, but Yildirim actually just decided to quit. So, it is what it is. And, the thing is this, like everybody getting mad at Canelo for fighting this guy. But the thing is this, look, if you want to get mad at somebody, you got to get mad at the WBC. They're the ones that put this guy in the position to fight the champion, whoever it was. Whether it be Canelo, David Benavidez, whoever had that belt at the time was going to have to fight this dude. And it's just piss poor, in my opinion, for Mauricio Suleiman to come out and then say after the fight, after hearing all the complaints, well, I guess we need to look at a few things here. And they're like, this is what it took? I mean, this guy has been so inactive. Not only that, he lost his last fight. Like, how do you even get in a position to be a manager for anybody when you're doing that sort of stuff? It's a joke. He should. I mean, they really need to mix things up, man. But Canelo did what he had to do. He got him out of there. And look, here's the thing, man. A lot of these guys getting upset, they're either just hating or they just don't know how the game works, man. Like, if you look at Chavez's record, man, in the late 80s and the early 90s, this guy was fighting 5 to 6 times a year. And it wasn't always against the top guys. He had these kind of fights in between. Now, I'm not going to get upset because look what he's doing. He's fighting Billy Joe Saunders next for a 3-belt unification bout. But not only that, just before this fight, he fought the guy who was the Ring Magazine and the WBA champion. So he fought one champion, took a tune-up. Now he's fighting another champion for 3 belts. So, I mean, hey, I'll let him have the tune-up as long as he gives us something good. And that goes for anybody, not just Canelo. So, it played out the way that I thought it would. But, there's no fix. Like people saying none of that happened. This guy he's just not that good, this Yildirim dude. And I'm glad that he's out of the way because we've been talking about this guy for quite a long time. And I'm just glad that he's done and out of the way, and we can move on to Billy Joe Saunders, which I think is a good fight. Yeah, I don't think he's the Euro bum like a lot of people say. I'm getting really sick and tired of hearing that term. But I think he can provide some problems to Canelo. I really do. I'm not saying he's going to win, but his style can definitely serve some trouble for Canelo. 408, you can go ahead and give your thoughts, man.
We find ourselves debating with all the hate on Canelo and whatnot, but Canelo's gotten to a place in his stardom that is so big that he's got to create his own set of challenges, new challenges for himself. And currently that's unifying the 168-pound division. So as much as I would like to say he's achieved like Floyd Mayweather status where he can call his own shots, promote himself, do whatever. He wants to unify that 168. Maybe he's finally found the weight class for him where he's going to park himself at for a long time. So that means dealing with the WBC and fighting his mandatory, which just happened to be, it's loaded with controversy. You can argue on that, but as far as hating on him for having to take that fight, that's a little bit out of his control. And they can't all be super fights, like what we're going to be seeing in May and September. So I don't have a problem with people calling that a stay busy fight or a tune-up, or even exhibition level quality opponent. I don't really have a problem with that because I know that he's going to deliver at least 2 great matches for at least the next 5 years. He's only 30. He's finally achieved his peak, is what we're seeing. And with the advent of him becoming his own promoter now, and he's going to be headed to Las Vegas May 8th, possibly headlining the Raiders Stadium for the first time, a fight at the brand new Allegiant Stadium. Man, kudos to him for that. I'm excited at just the possibility of being able to be in that stadium for that and seeing him take on a really credible opponent in BJ Saunders. I know my co-host Drew Evo in here is ready to take a pie if BJ Saunders doesn't win. It's a credible fight, and we will be debating that for the next 9 weeks.
Definitely. Hey, check it out, guys. Make sure you throw throw a jab on my like button. Shout out to everybody listening on the Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and listen to everything on the Leave It in the Ring network. So when you're driving, you're listening, with your AirPods, your whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, right? Philly Irish Drew in the chat, of course. Shout out to Alexis Outlaw, Run PMC, the Boxing Historian, JC, and all you guys from Boxer Girl to Chicano Prophet. I want to talk to you. I want to ask you guys really quick, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll go first with this one. The good, right? We actually had a lot of great fights. The undercards were not that bad in a lot of these fights, and we started early from the Parker fight over there on the other side of the world, right? And we had a lot of boxing this weekend. I don't like the fact that it was playing at the same time, but guess what? It is what it is, right? We had the Fox card, the Zone, so that's a good. The ugly, the good, the bad, Yildirim's performance and lack of effort. All right, how about that? All right, and the ugly, that entrance, man, the Canelo entrance. That shit was what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this? What is it? That shit was terrible, bro. All right, that shit was terrible. Hit my like button, by the way. Chief Funky, give it to me, man. The good, the bad, the ugly. Give it to me.
Oh, the good. Yep. I think I'm going to say the good was just getting Yildirim out of the way. I'm just sick and tired of talking about this dude as being a mandatory. He shouldn't have been in the first place, so he's out of there. That's the good. The bad, I would probably say, was Julio Cesar Martinez pulling out of the fight because of some weird hand injury just days before the fight. I was really looking forward to seeing El Rey fight, and it didn't happen. The ugly, I don't know, man. I guess I'd have to say Parker Fa. That was a terrible fight. And Parker has just, man, I don't know what it is about that dude. I can't put my finger on it. But something about him just rubs me the wrong way, you know. But I did like the entrance. I want to say that before I end my piece.
That's you're canceled. You're kicked out of the group, bro. Sorry. That's fine. Hey, Maestro, give us your thoughts on Canelo's performance. Okay, first of all, and then go ahead and give us a good, the bad, and the ugly of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just have to provide a little bit of perspective, though, because Yildirim was there for a reason, whether you agree with that reason or not. There was that controversial fight he had with Durrell. As a result of that fight being stopped early, the WBC gave him a shot at the title, all right? What then happened was Durrell ended up fighting Benavidez. Benavidez won, but then Benavidez lost his title on the scales. So at that point, Yildirim had a shot at the title. He then stepped aside to allow the fight between Callum Smith and Canelo. So that's why he got the shot, all right? So if you want to blame the WBC, yes, but that's actually how it happened. Do not blame Canelo. That's the first thing. The second thing, though, is that we got to address the player haters. We got to address David Faitelson on ESPN. We got to address all these know-nothing boxing heads that want to hate on Canelo. I talked about this on one of my uploads. It was like Dave Chappelle's player haters ball, right? The guy can't do anything. Dave 408 said it himself. He set himself up with a challenge. When it was Triple G wanted to do hashtag all the bells, motherfuckers were quiet. Actually, they weren't quiet. They were cheering him on. Yeah, Triple G, hashtag all the belts. Let's go get it. Okay, you got a guy who started as a welterweight now trying to do that at 168, and it's nothing but shade. So, believe it or not, my good was actually Canelo. One of the reasons Yildirim had such a difficult camp, too, for those that don't know, is that the U.S. government didn't give him a visa to have his training camp in California with Yoel Diaz. So Yoel Diaz actually delayed it, ended up having to go to Turkey to do the training camp. Guess what? Turkey doesn't have elite sparring. Guess what? Turkey wasn't the place where he should have had his camp. So yes, Yildirim didn't do well, but Yildirim didn't exactly have what he needed to do well either. So last thing I want to say on Yildirim, though, before I give my good, bad, and ugly real quick, everybody in the chat knows that Yildirim would have gone the fucking distance with Caleb Plant. If you are saying that he wouldn't have, you're lying to yourself. He would have gone 12 rounds with Caleb Plant. So let's not play games here. Canelo dominated him because he's Canelo. All right. So the good, Canelo washed Yildirim, and now we can get on to the Billy Joe Saunders fight. That was good. All right. Because that fight is going to be good. Billy Joe's going to give him a little bit of a test with the slick southpaw style. I got Canelo. I think Drew Ebo's kind of out of his mind with that, and he's definitely taking the pie to the plate. Okay, but Canelo's going to be tested a bit. We're going to have to see Canelo think things through and work through that win, no doubt. All right. The ugly, I would have said Junior Fa and all that sluggish, hug fest, clinch, punch, clinch, punch. But you know what? J Balvin and that entrance, bro, that was the ugly. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, come on.
How do you go from Final Countdown with the mariachis to that bullshit? It was a downgrade, okay? So that's my ugly. And the bad, the bad is kind of, I'm going to allude to what G Funky said, is just the look of the WBC, man. All right, you got to sort this shit out with your rankings. Again, there's a genesis to why Yildirim got to the spot he was in, but they got to rework that, man. They got to figure that out, and they got to figure it out in a more respectable way than the way Jose Suleiman handled it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right. Hey, 408, did you check the private chat, brother? Go ahead and do that, please. A shout out to Alex Heredia, Chicano Prophet, Chief Funky, Ish Sandoval, JC, G-Hole Park, Edgar Glass Chin. By the way, guys, make sure you hit that bell button that way you're notified every time we go live. 408, talk to us. The good, the bad, the ugly. Don't say me for ugly, okay?
Oh, man, I love this segment. The good, Jerry Forrest, this heavyweight that came out of nowhere to fight Zhang on the DAZN card. That guy, that was the ultimate David and Goliath fight. Nobody gave Jerry Forrest any inclination that he would last even 5 or 6 rounds. Even being knocked down 3 times, put up a hell of a fight to close the show with a draw against a guy who's a former Olympian, who's a 6'7" monster from China, who had potentially a fight with some of these major heavyweights. Jerry Forrest is the good of the week. I hope to see him against anybody, any heavyweight. I mean, I think he would even give Andy Ruiz trouble the way he fought this past weekend. Now, the bad is I'm a personal fan of Anthony Durrell. Anthony Durrell is a former cancer survivor, and I think the fact that he couldn't put away a 160-pound fighter that was brought up to fight him, not only that, but again, with the WBC controversy, he was fighting for an elimination fight for the WBC and maybe fight David Benavidez again. It looks like Anthony Durrell's career is on the downslide for the former 2-time champion. The ugly, I'm going to have to agree with my boy Amilcar 100%. I like tradition all the way. When Canelo comes to town, stick to tradition. It was a nod to the Miami culture, and I mean, I'm sure that the people could appreciate it. But I think they're 0-2. DAZN is 0-2 in Miami. Last time they had this rapper named Choppa NLE who lip-synced halfway through the show. That was on that Boo Boo Andrade fight that people walked out on. They're 0-2 in Miami with the live performances. Not my cup of tea. Stick to tradition, and I hope they don't do anything like that in Cinco de Mayo.
Let's face facts, fam. Like, Miami sucks for boxing. I'm sorry if there's anybody here from Miami on this show. Like, Miami ain't where it's at.
To Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. Let's sing, guys. Welcome to Miami. Bienvenidos. No, but check it out, man. Let's not throw shots at Miami. It's not Miami.
No shots at Miami.
Throwing shots. You guys can speak for yourself. I'm throwing hella shots at Miami.
It's that New York rivalry. You know what I mean?
Miami.
It ain't Miami's fault that the girls get to wear bikinis over there in the summer, Amilcar, and they're fully covered all year in New York. It ain't Miami's fault.
The girls and dudes wear bikinis out there too, D. You got to, mention that as well.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Hey, Canelo Billy Joe Saunders was announced. Fucking talk to me. What do you make about the announcement of this fight really quick?
Well, you guys know I've been saying this for around this time when it was announced that they could possibly fight last year in May. I think it's a good fight for Canelo. I do. I think Billy Joe's style, he's a southpaw. He can move around the ring. I think that's the style that gives Canelo trouble, and it has in the past. He hasn't been in with a guy who can move around the ring like that in quite some time. Now, I know that he's made some improvements since the Erislandy Lara fight, since the Khan fight, who the last couple of guys who I think were the ones that utilized the ring with movement. But I need to see it still. Before I can say he's able to cut off the ring effectively on guys that can move, I need to see it first. I'm always a guy, I need to see it. And he's going to have to do that here against Billy Joe Saunders because they know that they can't stand there right in front of him. They know that. He's going to have to give him movement, give him angles. And I want to see it. I think it's a good fight. I don't see any reason to complain about it, man.
Absolutely. How do you feel about it? 408, the announcement of the Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight.
But years ago, this fight would have been even more competitive, right? Because Canelo had shown problems against those type of fighters like Lara. But this isn't the same Canelo. His ability to cut off the ring is second to none now. He's going to tag him up to the body eventually and catch up to him. But for a while, it could be very entertaining. Not to mention the development of the UK-Mexico rivalry and the fact that the fight's most likely going to happen in Vegas. I think it's going to be a very exciting Cinco de Mayo. I hope the undercard, that DAZN does a little bit better in the undercard. And I hope that people show up to watch it in person and watch it on TV. And it's going to be a decent fight. It's going to be definitely a very entertaining fight. It's not dumpster juice, as Chief Funky would say.
Yeah, there you go. Amilcar, what do you think about the fight, brother?
I think it's a great fight. I love stylistic matchups. This is a great one. Neither of them are really big 168-pounders. All right, they're both guys that started their career at lower weight classes. Billy Joe, like G Funky said, he's a slickster and he's a southpaw, and he's going to be moving at angles, and he's got legs. Two things I'll say about Billy Joe that don't often get mentioned is, one, I've never really seen him gas out in his fights. really, really badly. Think about Zhilei Zhang over the weekend. You're not going to see that happen to Billy Joe. And two, he's got a really good chin. Billy Joe could take a shot. So he's not going to be going away easy. He's not going to be standing on center line like Yildirim, not using feints, not using head movement, not retreating at angles. He's going to be doing all of those things. He's going to be doing them from a southpaw stance. And last thing I'm going to say about Billy Joe that he also doesn't get credit for, while his hands may not be as fast as like a Caleb Plant, who I will agree has fast hands, he's got some of the quickest feet with his in and out movement and his ability to shift angles. And one of the really good things he does, if you notice in his fights, is he turns and spins his fighters and hits them on the other side. There's guys who are really good at that, like Manny Pacquiao being obviously one of the greatest at it. Billy Joe's very good at that as well. So don't just measure him by the Lemieux fight, because that was a good win. To me, his best win was Andy Lee, because I think Andy Lee's a better fighter than David Lemieux. So those are my thoughts. I'm excited about it. I'll be watching it, and I know all of you guys will too. And I hope, but I don't expect, that the player haters won't come out of their caves, because I'm sure they will.
That's right. That's right. Hey, so some quick announcements here, just so we could go over this really, really quick. Shields, he's going to be fighting the Kyrie. I think she's definitely a heavy favorite, and so I don't want to break that down, but I just want to ask you guys. It's an all women's pay per view. You know, I'm hoping they do well, but let's have a moment. You know what I mean? And let's try to give an honest prediction. Just really quick. 408, how many pay-per-views does it do?
Oh, God. It's not too... Less than 100,000.
It's a
travesty. It's a travesty for Shields, because, you know, she's even debating turning into a full-time MMA fighter. So, I mean, it's a real travesty for female boxing, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Milcar, talk to us.
How many pay-per-views this does?
Yes, really quick. Yes.
It's going to do less than the last Crawford pay-per-view, that's for sure. I think they'll be lucky if it hits 125 or 150. I don't really see it selling very well at all. And here's why. Even the most ardent boxing fan is going to struggle to name anyone on this card other than Clarissa Shields. This is the fact.
Right. That's tough to argue against. That's for sure.
I mean, you need to have that to sell pay-per-views. She's not a star enough on her own to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I'm going to say about 60,000. 60,000. So they're saying 45,000. JC says 100,000. So that's optimistic, but I don't know how realistic that is, to be honest with you guys.
I'm saying less than 50,000. That's what I'm saying.
So less than 50,000 says.
I agree.
Okay. Well, all right. There we go. Next thing I want to do here is do a giveaway. All right. So that's what we're going to do right now, guys. For those that follow me on Twitter at DSTYLE Boxing, make sure you do that. That way you could enter raffles like this. All right. I have the name of everybody that's in this raffle. Next week we'll do it for the painting. All right. But let's go ahead and do this right now. Let's see who's going to win the DSTYLE Boxing tee. You know what I mean? All right. Oh, JC, he said 100, not 100,000.
Ouch.
I was 99,900 too many. But are you guys ready? Who's going to win the raffle? Who's going to win this? All right. Let's do it. Here we go. Follow me on Twitter. Future. This is going to be for a DSTYLE Boxing 2nd edition t-shirt. We're about to find out who's going to win this tee. Let's do this. All right, let's go. All right. Hey, G-Funky 48 and Maestro are in this one as well, by the way, guys. Okay. Wheels of Names is doing it for me. Who's going to win it? Who's going to win the tee? Is it Joe Beam? No. G-Funky, no. London Left Hook. Paul. Christine.
Oh.
It's oh!
No,
that's a draw.
Wow.
That was
So
definitely so close.
The cake, guys. All right. There you go. Sonteo Media. Man, Meadows, sub. So Sonteo Media, congratulations. I'll get that out to you. You were close for a way. You were like right there.
Oh,
What happened?
man, I would gladly pay for your shirt and have given it to a fan. I'd gladly pay for your shirt.
Well, there we go, man. Much appreciated. Shout out to Sonteo Media. Okay, shout out to Sonteo. Arreola Ruiz announced on pay-per-view. Let's talk about it. That's right. All right. Don't give me that stone cold face. I don't want to talk about this shit. No. Let's talk about it, okay?
I know that
Go ahead. Talk to us, brother.
I didn't know the quiet man was coming out of retirement, man. John Ruiz? I guess I'm kind of excited.
Did I say John? My bad. Andy Ruiz. Wow.
Shit. Oh. Nah. In all seriousness, man, I like Chris Arreola, 3-time title challenger for the WBC Heavyweight Championship. I've got nothing bad to say about him, but I did not like what I saw here in New York City at the Barclays when he took on Adam Karnacki. That's enough for me to know that his years as a championship level fighter are over. And for me, someone who's fought for the championship 3 times, including against Dr. Iron Fist, Vitaly Klitschko, all right, he should not be used as a stepping stone type opponent, as a comeback type opponent. I'd really like to see Chris doing other things with himself now. I mean, if this is a huge payday for him, all power to him. But am I excited by this fight? No, it's like the lowest level marketing you could do. Let's just get 2 Mexicans and put them in the ring and let it sell itself. I mean, that's what they're doing here, and I'm just not all that excited about it.
All right. Hey, Chief Funky, how do you feel about it? Mexican versus Mexican, the Nightmare versus, the Destroyer. Are you pumped?
I would say pumped. I'm not too down on the fight.
Oh, wait.
Because
Juan Manuel Marquez energy drink.
Oh
boy.
Pump you up.
But I'll say this. We know Arreola brings the fight. He's not just gonna lay down for Andy Ruiz. And Ruiz is going to be making his comeback. He's been down there training with the Reynosos and Canelo, and we've seen good things come out of that camp in the last few months. So I'm real excited to see how he looks. But should this thing be on pay-per-view? Absolutely not. This is not a pay-per-view fight. Like, I don't care who they put on the undercard. This is not a pay-per-view fight. Just like the rest of all their pay-per-views that they had last year, except for the Fury Wilder, which was a dual pay-per-view with ESPN and PBC, but the rest of them were not all pay-per-view fights. But I bought them all because at the end of the day, guess what? I got to watch the damn fight. I just can't not watch the fight when it's on. So I bought them all, so you can't call me a hater, but this is not a pay-per-view fight. I'm sorry, but I think it will be entertaining for as long as it lasts.
Okay, all right. 408, how do you feel about it, brother?
I'm not down on this fight at all. I'm actually excited for it. I'm not excited at the prospect of paying full price. Again, that seems to be the chat's consensus. Why are we paying for this? But, I mean, I've got a local bar down the street that I just heard is going to reopen, and they show these PBC pay-per-views for $10 a person. That's a value, and they throw in a beer or two. That's a really smoking deal. I'd be excited to get out of the house, and they're going to be showing it outdoors, I believe. But also, hey, Jesus Ramos, who we just featured, hot prospect, is going to be on that card. So I have a good feeling that card is going to do well. What's not to like about Chris Arreola? How many great fights has he been involved in? How many times have we seen him cry at the end and announce his retirement, right? It's like every good mariachi song that you hear where somebody's crying about a love that's gone. he's and I want to say kudos and shout out to him because March 5th is his 40th birthday. We're seeing Chris Arreola's potential last stand. It really should be his last stand. So if he goes the distance with a healthy and fit Andy Ruiz, this could be for Chris Arreola his last fight, the last time we'll see him in the ring. It's probably not a bad idea that he retires after this, and I just hope he doesn't get hurt and he puts on a good show for the fans and everyone walks away with this without any serious injuries. And I'll be looking forward to this, man. April 24th, we got that Mexican-American heavyweight showdown. We got Cinco de Mayo right around the corner. And then I'm sure we're going to talk about it down the line. We've got this unification match, right? Like within a month a span of a month, we're going to have all these great Mexican-American fights. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Shout out to Raider, Boxing Outlaw, the Boxing Historian, and Joe Lopez 40 Ounce. How are you guys doing? Bruce Goes, how's it going? Go ahead, Amilcar.
No, I mean, is anyone here giving Arreola a shot? Is anyone here willing to say that they think Arreola wins this fight? Is anyone here willing to say that they think he does better against Ruiz than he did against Adam Kaunaki?
Negative.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Negative.
I think that it's almost like a demeaning thing for me to see Arreola being used like this. I mean, I guess I'm in the minority on this. But
Amilcar.
Yo,
it's two Mexicans though. It has to sell.
I know it's good. It probably will sell because I'm going to buy it. Obviously, I'm going to watch it. Obviously,
I am.
I'm probably going to be entertained because Arreola is going to be in there throwing bombs and then eventually taking shots. But if you've noticed in his fights, his punch output has dropped tremendously as he's aged, and his punch resistance has as well. And I really just don't want to see Chris Arreola being knocked out by Andy Ruiz. I just don't. So that's something I'm just not looking forward to seeing.
How does he fucking say, oh, the telenovela over here, like, oh, his safety, like, no, but no. And in all seriousness, and by the way, guys, tune in tomorrow, HCP Uncensored. I'll just give you one clue. The guest couldn't make it the last time, and we're gonna try to get him on tomorrow. Uncensored. Tune in. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to Chief Funky 84. Subscribe to the Shoe Shine. Go ahead and put your link on the chat, by the way, Dave, when you get a chance, so people can subscribe to you. Maestro, same thing. Just subscribe, guys. You can actually go subscribe and come right back. You know what I mean? It's all good. Check it out. Which one? Just really quick. Which one sells more, Arreola Ruiz or Shields to carry? Which pay-per-view sells more? Chief Funky.
Arreola Ruiz, easy.
Oh boy. 408, which one sells more?
Arreola Ruiz.
Maestro, which one sells more?
Oh, Arreola Ruiz, no doubt. I would actually say you actually got to do it more as an over-under. Over-under, it sells 4 times as much.
Ooh.
That to me is like a more interesting prop bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at these sexists. Like right now, you know what I mean? That's what it is. This is what's going on right now. I'm calling y'all out, and I'm telling you right now that I can say this with confidence, that Ruiz versus Arreola will sell more. I'm done. Okay, anyway, moving on. All right, Mikey Garcia claims that the Pacquiao fight is almost done. He's been claiming this for a while, but maybe Mikey was on to something because he said this a while back, and they're like, oh, come on, Mikey. He's going to fight McGregor. Like he ain't going to fight you, Mikey. But, hey, why would Mikey just make this up? 408, talk to us. Do you believe, Mikey, believe this fight's almost done? Garcia, Pacquiao. And do you like the fight?
Oh, yeah, I still like this fight. But I don't know what to believe that comes out of this Pacquiao camp. According to Brian Garcia, he's working that fight still, and it's still very much alive. So I'm not sure what to believe. But yes, it's still a very competitive fight.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Hey, Chief Funky, what do you think? Do you believe Mikey, and do you like the fight if it happens?
Well, I do believe Mikey, and I do like the fight when it happens. But I have to say, man, he's been talking about building this fight for so long. I mean, I don't know which one's going to take longer to build this fight or to build the wall that Trump was talking about. You know, I mean, Jesus, taking forever. But I'm glad that it's here because I do think it's a good fight. Mikey's a tough opponent for Pacquiao. He's very quick. He's got a quick 1-2 with that right hand behind him. We all know that that's Pacquiao's kryptonite. So he better be prepared, man. I think it's going to be a good fight, though. I really look forward to it.
All right. Amilcar, same question to you, brother. Let me direct it to you.
I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't quite understand it from a Pacquiao perspective, why you take on a guy like this. Mikey's dipped a lot in terms of his, let's just call it, value as a commodity. He has just not fought often enough. He hasn't been in there enough with enough of the kind of top guys in the sport as of late. I mean, his last fight, honestly, was not exciting at all. And he hasn't come back in any meaningful way since that fight. So I honestly don't understand this move on the part of Pacquiao. I feel like he could have taken on a guy with a slightly higher profile that has a lot less skills than Mikey Garcia at the moment. But he's chosen, I guess, what he always does, which is to challenge himself. And I got to respect Pacquiao for that.
Absolutely. And hey, guys, I want to give a quick shout out here to the one and only Black and Brown Boxing. Okay, he's actually selling these tees, man. So check it out. He sent me one. Go to his YouTube, Black and Brown. He has a video up there, and he's selling those, and he's including already with the included price of the shipping. So there you go. You know what I mean? So check that out, Black and Brown Boxing. Okay. Lion Ryan, is he back? We were calling him Lion Ryan last year. And then I said, you know what? No more Lion Ryan. He proved me wrong. He's doing his thing. Amilcar, let me start with you.
Is that
Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia. He said, I'm going to make the Tank fight. Then he said, psych. Right. I'm going to make the Pacquiao fight. Psych. Right. None of them happened. So
it's Lion as in Mentiroso versus Lion as in
Leon. Like this is not Juan Manuel Marquez energy drink.
So just to be clear, we're not talking about Leones. We're talking about Mentirosos. Got it. Got it. So
Lion Ryan.
He does what that generation does, man. They live in the world of social media, which is all make believe anyways, and it's all about those clicks. It's all about those views, and it's all about just stirring up the drama train, man. And I think he should take over the moniker Big Drama Show because he seems all to be about the big drama on social media. So, do I believe the Tank Davis thing? Not necessarily, but you know what? To Ryan's credit, if Tank Davis wanted that fight, it's probably a lot easier to make. I just don't think Tank Davis is calling out the top fighters of his era and around his weight division. And the guys that he's fought have just proven that. You look at Yuriorkis Gamboa, a 40-year-old coming off a bad Achilles injury. I think he was 39 at that time. And he was in there with a bad Achilles and went almost the distance, right? That was followed up with the Santa Cruz win. Not exactly the sternest test. If I'm Ryan Garcia, the fight to make is Tank Davis, but I just don't know if Tank Davis wants it, and I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, same question to you, G Funky. Is Lion Ryan back, or is he going to surprise us, make a big announcement? Well, what do you think, man? Because he said Tank. I mean, he had people chanting Tank while Devin Haney was standing there all awkward. Okay, and then he said psych the Tank, and he said, no, I'm going to fight Pacquiao. So what do you think?
Here's what I think, man. And we're all from the 80s and the 90s. You guys remember that song, Mellow Man Ace, Mentirosa? You guys remember that song?
Oh, yeah.
Then you tell me something, y mañana otra cosa. That's
shit.
Lion Ryan right there, man, all the way con tu lengua venenosa.
Oh, shit.
I just don't get it, man. You get everybody excited for a possible fight with Tank. You got everybody, like you said, everybody cheering for Tank. You got Devin Haney right there. And it looks like none of these fights have any Pacquiao fight, none of that. So, I don't know, man. Honestly, I think and I said this after the fight, I think he should fight Devin Haney. If he's mandatory, right? Or either him or Fortuna. But from what I'm hearing from the Haney side, it looks like they're going to go after Linares. So there's a whole lot of lying going on. It's not just Lion Ryan, but yes, Lion Ryan is back. He needs to just, I don't know, man, close his mouth before there's actually something official. But the Pacquiao fight looks like it's gone now. So why not go after Tank? Why not? But we all know that that's a tough thing, like Amilcar said. They don't really want to put him in there tough with anybody, and that's, believe it or not, I know a lot of guys are high on Tank, but that is a tough fight for Tank. Ryan's height, Ryan's speed, he's got punching power. It could give him trouble. So I think it's a good fight for both guys. So that, to me, that's the fight, the big money fight that he should make. But he should really be trying to fight Devin Haney. He's his mandatory.
Absolutely. Shout out to Joe Lopez, 40 ounce retros for life, 79 boxing. Santa Cruz was a much more viable opponent than Lion Ryan. He says, leave Ryan alone, says Alexis. Shushan Santana sample on Mentirosa. Yeah. There you go. All right. That's what it's all about right there. Boxing historian, the Tank is being coached by the ultimate cherry picker. All right. 408, give us some thoughts, brother.
Lion
Ryan back?
Who made that moniker? Yeah, he's definitely back. But I think Amilcar hit the nail on the head there.
HCP made that moniker, baby. Last year.
HCP. And I'm down. I'm down with Hispanics causing panic, man. Lion Ryan. Yeah, you know what? It's a company he keeps. You know, he's hanging out with these guys that are huge on YouTube. They got like the top podcast, Jake Paul, turned boxer. These guys are really in tune at how to get clicks. And whatever at the moment is going to get him the most, garnish him the most attention on social media is probably what's going to come out of his mouth. He's got plenty of quality opponents that he can go tell Oscar, who is his promoter, to line him up. I don't think Linares is a bad fight. I mean, he just defeated a really credible opponent. We saw that. Linares is the next logical step, but even Fortuna would be a great matchup, right? Again, he's not the champ. He's not Teofimo Lopez. He's got to work up to that himself. So before calling out legends like Manny Pacquiao, he should consider the next logical opponent, working himself up to be a champion someday. He's not a champion yet. I have to keep reminding folks that think he's the next big star. He's not even got a belt under his name.
Wow. All right. Okay. Well said. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and proceed to the big news, man. The big news. And I need to know what the chat thinks. You know what I mean? Adrian Ramirez says that if Pillow Fisted Santa Cruz gave Tank 2 black eyes, Ryan will decapitate Tank. Oh, shit. That's what we got to do it. You know what I mean? Retro, I've been down with HCP as long as Naughty by nature was down with OPP. There you go. All right, Rex Renteria, who were those guys? And by the way, who's down with HCP? Chief Funky, are you down with HCP?
You know me.
Are you down with HCP, Dave, from 408?
I'm down with the HCP.
Who's down with HCP? Everybody hit my damn like button, all right? And just really quick, we're two likes away from 100. Two dudes are being greedy right now. They want to hit the like button, all right? But they're like, nah, not yet. Yeah, let me see what they say about Josh Taylor. You know what I mean? Like, but check it out, man. Ramirez Taylor's official. 140 pounds. All right? 140 pounds. Something says every last body. I'm down, says No Paul. Yeah, you know me, says Prime Fighting Champions. That's what it's all about right there. It's official, guys. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Free on ESPN, too. Not pay-per-view. We're going to get this fight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get Ramirez against Josh Taylor. Please give me the mariachis. Please give me the pipe bands. I cannot wait. And by the way, have they announced what it's going to be? Vegas?
No, they haven't announced it.
No announcement. Yeah. Dude, we got to go to. I'm down to go to that fight, guys.
Great.
I'm down for that fight. I'm down for that shit. Ramirez Taylor, I'm down. Right? Just got to make sure I get my vaccine, maybe. You know what? I'm not going to get the vaccine. But still, I'll still be there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Thanks so much, Major Key. That's much appreciated. 101, not Dalmatians, likes. I appreciate it. First time during a live broadcast, we got over 100 likes. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Wow. That's what it's all about right there. That's support. Follow me on Twitter at DSTYLE Boxing. Follow Chief Funk at ChiefFunk84 on Twitter as well. Follow Maestro on Twitter and 408 on Twitter as well. You guys can post your Twitters on the your ads right there on the chat. Follow us and follow me because you could win shit. So don't want a DSTYLE Boxing 2nd edition tee. It's going to be sporting. Hope he wears it while he's doing those interviews. You know what I mean? Like walking around like he owns the place in those gyms. Right? That's right. Sonteo Media. Hispanic causing panic on the field. That's what I'm talking about. Check this out. Talk to me. Chief Funky. I know we've been talking about this one, and finally it's going to happen, and I cannot wait for this one. Talk to us.
Absolutely, man. This is what I'm all about. I love Undisputed, And I love the fact that these two guys were willing to get it in while they were still in their prime, while they're still hot. Their names are hot, you know. And here's one thing I want to mention, man, because we hear this a lot from several different camps out in the YouTube land and YouTube boxing community about all this ducking talk when it comes to Undisputed and when it comes to fighting champion versus champion. How come we haven't heard that with these two guys? How come we haven't heard that? Like when they both unified, right? Ramirez unified with Hooker, Taylor unified with Prograis. They both had a fight in between, and then now the fight is signed. How come we weren't hearing none of that talk then? You know, I don't know. That's just a little peculiar to me. I'm just going to throw that out there for you guys to think about. But I love the fight, obviously. I think it's a good fight. Josh Taylor is a hell of a fighter. This will be his first time fighting outside of the UK, because I believe the fight is going to happen here in the United States. So that's something to consider for a lot of people who are betting on Taylor to win this fight. I'm rolling with Ramirez. I just think that he's going to be too much, man. I think he's got a good chin. He's got good power. And I think it's going to be a good fight, though, for sure. But I'm taking Ramirez to beat Taylor. And like I said before in the past on these shows, I'll always support Jose Ramirez because of the work that he does out here with the farmers in Central California. My family, you know, they came from the fields back in the early part of the last century, all the way, you know, till the Chicano movement in the late 60s and the early 70s. You know, my family was involved in that, so he'll always have my support. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be biased towards him. Doesn't mean I'm always going to pick him to win. But he'll always have a soft spot in my heart, man. So I'm going to pick him for this one. I just think he's the better fighter, man. I think he's a stronger guy, and I think he's going to get it done, man. But it's a great fight, man. Undisputed. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. By the way, we're going to open the phone lines for a couple of calls. Just call us, give us your thoughts, and then we're going to move on to somebody else. You know what I mean? So just FYI to take some callers. We appreciate everybody that tuned in. Make sure you hit my like button. Hey, Milcar, talk to us. Maestro, that is. Talk to us, man.
Appreciate that.
By being official.
I'm really excited about it being official, but I do have a question for G Funky. You looking forward to maybe Bad Bunny or Maluma? I don't know. J Balvin again. What about Nicky Jam? I mean, who do you want to walk out your boy when he faces off against a Josh Taylor?
Hey,
some mariachis will do. Some mariachis.
Yeah, any of those dudes I'm good with, man. Like I like reggaeton, man. I'm not a hater on reggaeton, but
maybe Farruko.
Le gusta la gasolina. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's a little bit new for the fight game, but the mariachis always get it done for sure.
All right. So, anyways, in all seriousness, I'm excited about the fight. I'm not 100% about this fight. I'm actually a lot less than 100% about this fight. I'm 50% about this fight because for me, it's a 50-50 fight, which is really what makes a fight a great fight. We've got two guys that actually wanted to fight each other. We've got two guys that actually wanted to unify and then now actually want to be undisputed champions at 140. I give all credit to these two fighters, all credit. And also give credit to Josh Taylor because he's made it very clear that he wants to fight in the United States. He feels as if he's reached his pinnacle out there in the UK, and he wants to be a crossover star, which is something that other great British fighters of the past have done, whether it's, Prince Naseem Hamed, Lennox Lewis, later on Joe Calzaghe. They all had to come here to the United States to get to that next level. So he wants to do that. How this fight plays out is going to be so interesting because they both have power. They both have great chins. They both have tremendous cardio. They have different skills, obviously. I see Ramirez is much more of a pressure fighter, but he can obviously box as well. I mean, you're talking about an Olympic-level fighter, too. And he can mix it up on the inside and on the outside. This fight is going to be exciting. And other than AJ Fury and possibly the Chocolatito Estrada fight, which is going to be happening sooner than this one, these are my top three fights that I got to see this year. So I'm fully excited about it. I do not want to see a reggaeton artist walk Ramirez down to the ring. Let's hope that doesn't happen, despite G Funky's wishes for it. But yeah, other than that, I'm all excited about this fight.
Hey, really quick before I go to you 408, this was for Ryan Garcia.
Why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
There you go. With that said, I hope that's not a copyright. You guys think it's a copyright? I don't know. It's not, but it is what it is. 408, talk to us. What's your reaction to this, man? You know,
man, in the month of May, right? We're gonna have two super fights between Mexico and the UK. Where once upon a time it was this Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry. I think it's just fantastic. You know, and sadly, Bob Arum had to move his date, his super fight, not to impose on Canelo's fight. But still, are the fans the real winner? Drew Evo was telling me today, is Bob Arum making a mistake making this fight free? Will Ramirez eventually say, hey, where's my pay-per-view? That was a pay-per-view worthy fight. That is on my mind. You know, we didn't talk about it today, but the likelihood that Bob Arum is going to have two of his biggest stars walk away from him in his roster, and Ramirez is right up there. Could be. Is this fight pay-per-view worthy? It is. But fans are going to get it for free, and that's exciting in itself. And I want to say this. If I do get out to Vegas, and it is in Vegas, I would love to meet any of HCP's fans and supporters and Leave It in the Ring Radio Network people to have some beer. And lastly, if you ask me who would be a good person to walk in with Jose Ramirez from San Jose, California, Los Tigres del Norte.
Ay.
That would be or his own corrido band. Either of those are totally acceptable. I'm sure they'd be better than Canelo's ring walk this past weekend.
There we go. The phone line is in the bottom, guys. You know, so check it out, man. I am excited. And we have time to talk about it, so I don't want to dive too much on a lot of things. Here's what I could tell you guys right off the bat. Okay? And this goes out to you, you know, a lot of dudes from the UK, especially Scotland. Shout out to you. All right? Like, I know in HCP we've been talking a lot of trash. I mean, but here's what I could tell you. Now, the closer we get to the fight, I'm going to talk some trash now. But so this is a gimme, but it's a 50-50 fight to me. It's a tough fight. Like, either guy could win this fight. You know what I mean? So I know that, just FYI, but I'm going to talk my shit. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Okay? All right? Number is 718-618-4284. If anybody wants to call in, make sure you call in. Okay? We're not going to be on here forever, so let us know what you think. Okay? And all that good stuff. Shoe Shine in the chat. Brown, gone, one. Reggaeton music was actually better when I was a kid. Don Omar, Hector, El Father, and all that. Okay? Well, what's that one song? Pobre Diabla, right?
We've got a caller right now, D. We've got area code 206 on the line. 206, you are live.
Go ahead.
Good. Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Brother Brian, how you doing, bro?
Hey, Brother Brian, well, what do you make of the news of Ramirez Taylor?
Repeat that again.
Ramirez Taylor, undisputed. It's official. What are your thoughts?
I mean, can't hate on it. I'll say that much. I'm calling it for the Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe.
Okay. No problem. Give us your thoughts on that fight, so we get the next caller in, brother. But go ahead and talk to us about Canelo, Billy Joe. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just wanted, with just quick thoughts. I believe that Canelo is going to be in the fight of his life. The reason why, because I think that Billy Joe has an excellent jab, and I think his footwork is going to give Canelo Alvarez a lot of problems. When you look at the last couple fights that he's been in against it, and we can probably exclude the top guys, that he's fought, or not the top guys, but the intermediate guys that he's fought, like the guy he fought last week, Yildirim. But the top dudes that he fought, their footwork and the angles that they take have not affected Canelo Alvarez as much. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that Billy Joe's gonna give him a real good fight, and I think this fight might go to a decision.
Okay. Hey, well, who do you got though? Like who do you got again? It's tough, huh?
I think it's 50-50.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I agree with you, man. I think he could give him some trouble, man. I'm not making an official pick yet, but I do think that the style will give Canelo some trouble.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for your call, Brian.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Just wanted to talk about that just real quick. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for your
support.
support.
Have a good one, bro.
Absolutely. All right, make sure you guys hit my like button. If anybody wants to call in, 718-618-4284. You could kind of give us your thoughts on any of the topics that we were talking about. I know Nada Tuaku's out there. Do we have anybody waiting at the moment in the middle car?
Nope, not at the moment. We had Brian call in, and he was the first caller to call in.
Sure. All right, so there you go. All right, we'll take about one or two more calls, if anything. All right, but we only have 5 minutes, and I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. So we're going to call. Do it ASAP. All right. Shushan says Lara and Trout gave big problems earlier in his career, and that's the thing, right? Is it going to continue? Is he still has Canelo improved against a mover like that? So that's why I personally like that fight. You know what I mean?
I'll say this: I'm hearing a lot of the same things from the chat that I was hearing about Burchell when I was bringing up the fact that he had been stopped. They're like, but that was so long ago. I don't think it counts anymore. Hey. I got to see it, man. I got to see it to believe it. I think he can do it against Billy Joe, but I still need to see it first, man.
All right, we've got another caller on the line, area code 909. State your name. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, my name is Adrian.
Thanks for calling in, Adrian.
What do you want to say, brother?
I'm the cook, bro. What's on your mind?
Did he drop off?
Still there?
He left. I don't know why.
Go ahead and call back, Adrian. So you give us your thoughts. If anybody wants to call in right away, go ahead and call. Raider LA says Los Angeles del Barranco. The fans will go crazy. Cholo Boxing, I picked Canelo, but yes, I do believe Billy Joe is going to give him a lot more problems than people believe. And here's the thing, man. Yes, he stayed active against Yildirim and all that, but it's not exactly the most ideal tune-up before Billy Joe Saunders' opponent. It just isn't. If we keep it 100, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a good sign. I mean, you've got callers actively engaged. You got people in the chat saying if this isn't going to be a walk in the park for Canelo, that's what we want to see as a boxing fan, right? We don't want to see a total shutout. We want to see something competitive, right? Even a guy who might pose a challenge to Canelo in the peak of his career. I wouldn't mind seeing him go a decision against somebody and see how that person does. It's only going to be a learning lesson if he faces more southpaws down the line, and he's going to face southpaws down the line.
And I want to set something up for tomorrow, man. For you guys listening, anybody that thinks that Charlo or Andrade are such better opponents for Canelo than Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, what really makes those guys so much better? At the end of the day, all three of them are undefeated. All three of them are champions. All three of them are two-division champions. My thing is this: I think Billy Joe's fought better guys and beat better guys than both Charlo and Andrade. So I don't know where all this is coming from, man.
Absolutely. And we've got another caller on the line. I think he's from out of the United States, country code 52. You're on the line. How's it going? Hello?
I'm calling from all the way from Tijuana here, actually.
Oh, Tijuana.
Tijuana, Mexico. How's it going?
California.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I was calling regarding the Ramirez versus Taylor fight.
Talk to us.
Yeah, so from what I see here, based on the styles, I kind of see Ramirez punishing Taylor. You have to remember that Taylor has, he was out of the UK only early in his career. But lately, I mean, I know he fought Regis Prograis, but that was in the UK or in Scotland. After those early fights, I mean, he's never been outside the UK.
Well, what would you say to a UK fan that says Ramirez hasn't really fought that much outside of the United States?
Well, it's different because all the talent from every nation, it's in the U.S., so it doesn't really matter.
Good point.
Well, AJ and Fury aren't in the U.S.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like here's where I gotta agree with the caller, right? Everyone comes here, like whether it's the best Ukrainian boxer, where does he box? In the U.S. The best fighter out of the Philippines, where does he box? In the U.S. The best Mexican fighter, where does he fight? In the U.S. A lot of the best Canadian fighters, sometimes, especially when they step up, they go to the U.S. You know what I mean? So it is definitely the hub, the main ground. But I think a lot of people got to understand, like, Ramirez is being overlooked because he wasn't in that Super Series tournament, but he's got a good resume, and that although it was controversial, the win over Zapata is growing. It's aging well, especially after knocking out Baranchik, who was considered a big win for Tater, before that. So,
you know what else is being overlooked? I think with Ramirez is this. Look who he's had as trainers: Freddie Roach and now Robert Garcia, two of the best trainers in the game right now. Look at some of the guys who he's been in there in the gym with sparring: Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia, Virgil Ortiz. I mean, he's gotten some good work in those camps. I think people are overlooking that when it comes to Ramirez, man. He's been in with some training with some great trainers and some great sparring partners, man.
Well, I just think Ramirez, to be honest with you, he's very underrated. Kind of like Andy Ruiz when he fought AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the AJ fight, did you ever remember an opponent making Ruiz go on the back foot? Never. I never seen that. Not even Ramirez. So I think it's going to play out the same way. That's the reason.
Yep. I'm right there with you, man.
Well said, man. Here on HCP, we've been feeling that same way, and people are just overlooking it. Just another point, caller, is people pointed out how Postal gave Ramirez a tough fight, but they forget that Postal gave Tater a tough fight too. In fact, if people go back and watch the 7th round, he almost had Tater out of there. Tater was on Queer Street, okay, and he dominated Tater in that round. But people want to forget about that. But you want to give us any final thoughts, caller, before we let you go, brother?
Yeah, this is the reason I think he's going to lose as well. I don't know if you remember the Peterson brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the Peterson brothers?
Of course. Yeah.
At the beginning when the first couple of rounds when they used to fight, Taylor kind of reminds me of them in a way. Why? Because he would box for the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then at the moment where his opponent will land a good shot, he would throw the boxing out the window and just get into a slugfest.
That's actually a very good way of describing Lamont Peterson for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, man, but thank you very much for calling in, brother. I got to wrap it up in a little bit. But thanks for your call, man. Out of Tijuana. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
shout out to everybody in Tijuana. I mean, amazing boxing community there. By the way, guys, there's a fighter out of Tijuana that I saw on Twitter. It's making the rounds. If you think Andy Ruiz was out of shape, look out for this guy named El Torta. That's making he's making his name as a heavyweight prospect in Tijuana. He laughed. I'm not kidding. His name's El Torta.
Also, I just want to say, too, that if anyone's calling from Mexico or another country, you can actually Skype in as well, because I have Skype embedded in the phone system. The email address in the chat.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate those that called in. This has been a great show, guys. Miguel Mondragon, shout out to you. For those that came in, go back, man. Check out the interviews. Check out the, just everything, man. A lot of great stuff there. There was a little bit of a glitch there with our second guest, but it's all right. I mean, we still got through the interview and all that. We make it happen here on HCP. Whether it's it could be in the middle of a hurricane. We're going to get that interview. We're going to make it happen one way or another. All right. And again, man, check out the first interview. All right. Go check that out. And we definitely appreciate that, man. He's going to be giving away a free poster. Go and check that out. The 4 Kings. I'll be putting on a post for those that want to enter the contest. Congratulations to Sonteo Media for winning the 2nd edition D-Style Boxing Tee. Follow me at D-Style Boxing. All right. And subscribe to Chief Funky. Subscribe to Dave from the 408 and Maestro. This is D-Style boxing. Keep it boxing, guys. We're out of here. Peace.